1.2 on to the summit. We reached the top. When I left Camp 9 on Friday morning, I was determined to get to the top on this day. That morning, I remember thinking I was to get to the top even if I die. I was not afraid to die that day. We set out early and all the way from Camp 9 to the peak we alternated. I would take the lead and then Hillary, the man who follows when climbing, has a difficult job both in climbing up and climbing down. He is an archer. The man going in the lead cuts the steps and breaks the way.
Technology out of which I was chief executive officer or MD or the software head for 23 years for large global multinational software companies with thousands of software professionals worldwide and six offices in the huge three in Europe, I in Japan and one in Australia. I had to travel all over the globe around 150 times for business. During this period, I had also written four books with 500 700 pages, each of information technology published by Tata McGraw-Hill and then translated into Chinese for global distribution. Distribution. I learned I learned a lot of things when I was running these large companies. The first one was the importance of teamwork. In today's world, nothing is possible without teamwork. You cannot be successful if you are a loner and an egoistic person. Secondly, you need to lead from the front by setting a good example in front of you staff. Third was that you need to treat your subordinates and your colleagues and as friends. In my career, I made a few mistakes but learn a lot about motivation, being a good listener, target setting and the art of delegation, which forms such an important part of today's management. After working for all these software companies for so many years, I wanted to return to my first love, i.e., to read and write on various subjects concerning human life and existence.
Into the field. I stayed put guide the layer longer target site and scanned the area easily. Took some steps, stopped again. A priest cat was laying before me on the trail. The bluish purple files were hovering over it. I was sure that the leopard was somewhere near the distant alarm call of for Hernet Antle was adding to the queue. I barely walked around 15 meters and stopped. I had apparently entered in the scantrum of a miracle called leopard, but the big cat was not visible. Yet an elusive animal. The surroundings were reminding me that I was alone time and again as I moved forward on the trail to Peterson. The pending alarm calls were still heard in the background. I could tell instantly that the leopard had moved away. Meanwhile, I saw a man standing at a distance with a stick in his hand as I approached. He appeared spooked due to alarm calls of the Hipart. We greeted each other. He was Raju Ispe from Pitazari.
I learned a lot of things when I was running these large companies. The first one was the importance of teamwork. In today's world, nothing is possible without teamwork. You cannot be successful if you are a loner and an egoistic person. Secondly, you need to lead from the front by setting a good example in front of your staff. Third was that you need to treat your subordinates and your challenges as friends. In my career I made a few mistakes but learned a lot about motivation, being a good list listener, target setting, and the art of delegation, which forms such an important part of today's management. After working for all these software companies for so many years, I wanted to return to my first love. I do it read and write on various subjects concerning human life and existence. Therefore, I gave up to offers of around 3 crores rupees per annum to become a writer. This is how my second inning uh, uh, as a writer in Marathi began. After this, I have written about 34 books in Marathi. Most of them have become best bestsellers with tens of thousands of copies sold for each. However, it is not the sales or the money that is important to me as much as the fact that these books have brought about very good change in the lives of thousands of readers.
Oh, that does me no end of good. Tell one, please, he said, talking his face out of the sofa cushion, red and shining with merriment. Much elated with her success, Jo did tell on all about their plays and plans, their hopes and fears for father, and the most interesting events of the little world in which the sisters lived. Then then they then they got to talking about books, and to Joe's delight she found the lorry loved them as well as she did and had read even more than herself. If you like if you like them so much, come down and see ours. Grandfather is out, so you needn't be afraid, said Laurie, getting up. I am not afraid of anything, returned Joe with a toss of the head. I don't believe you are. Excellent, the boy, looking at her with much admiration, through he privately thought she would have good reason to be a trifle afraid of the old gentleman if she met him in some of his moods. The atmosphere of the whole house being summer like, Laurie led the way from room to room, letting Jo stop to examine whatever struck her fancy. And so at last they came to the library, where she clapped her hands and pranced as she always did when specially delighted. It was lined with books, and there were pictures and statues and distracting little cabinets full of coins and curiosities, and sleepy hollow chairs and queer tables and bronzes, and best of all, a great open fireplace with quiet tales all round it. What recharges? What recharges? Sinked Joe, sinking into the depth of a velour chair and gazing about her with an air of intense satisfaction. To be the happiest boy in the world, she added impressively.